So grateful to you all for tuning in today. I'm really excited to dive into this event for us all to learn about how to supercharge our social media strategy with 2023 trends. A core goal of Dreamers and Doers is to amplify you and your journeys, and intimate educational sessions like today's, filled with insights thanks to your fellow members, are the perfect opportunity for us to up-level together. So before we officially begin, I want to share a bit of background information on our esteemed expert. Ashley is the founder of Quimby Digital, a social media marketing agency that manages social media for mom and pop organizations all the way up to professional sports teams. Ashley is a former commercial real estate attorney turned entrepreneur. She has launched, scaled, and sold an online digital magazine that grossed over 6,000 writers and was distributed internationally. After dabbling in just about every form of digital marketing, Ashley decided to launch Quimby Digital to help tell the stories of future forward brands through social media marketing. So with all of that, I will hand it over to you, Ashley. We are so excited to learn from your expertise today. We know how valuable your time is, and we're so grateful to you for investing in the Dreamers and Doers Collective in this way.
Yay, thank you, Hannah.
Of course.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining me today. I prepared some slides. I read through all the questions that people submitted on what they're interested in learning about. So I'm going to do a little bit of presenting, but feel free to ping questions in the chat. And then at the end of this, I'll do a Q&A in case you have specific questions. So pardon how I look. I wish there was like an after travel filter. I was on a mom vacation for 4 days by myself, the first time I ever took one. So I'm feeling rested and rejuvenated and ready to do this. So let me share my screen. So I went too far. Supercharge your social media strategy. So a little bit about me. I've been running my agency for almost 4 years now. It's powered by all ladies. There's those that identify as female, and we work with brands around the world. So we're really fortunate enough to work with startup founders all the way through like bigger enterprises. And I will say that most of the clients that we work for are currently going through raises or just have raised. So it's been such a wild ride so far. We're definitely like in that startup sphere and live and breathe like really quick moving social media. We recently did a rebrand. So some of you might know me as Laura Alexandria Marketing. We're now Quimby. Quimby means Estate of Women. So we have like this new, beautiful, vibrant brand and really coming into our own, expanded our service offerings, all the things. Like I truly believe in pivoting. So that's what we did this year. And I love it so far. So I thought it would be good just to go over like, what is social media strategy? So many people say like, I need a social media strategy. I need people to execute social for me. Like, what is it? So I wanted to kind of run through what we do when we put together a social media strategy for our clients, just because I think it'll help you think about your own social strategy. And if you're servicing clients and you're a social media manager, maybe there's an opportunity to fill gaps in. So when we bring a brand on, we always ask about their target audience. And so who are they trying to serve? What's their age range, sex, job profession? Like, what do they do in their free time? All of that good stuff. And we like to hear it from the client. So we get that information from the client and then we take it one step further. So then we go and we look at their socials if they have them and see what they're doing now and like what types of people are actually engaging and then what data they have on the back end to prove who they think their target audience is. Because sometimes we think we know who our target audience is, but the data and the numbers show something completely different. So after we look at the target audience, we will define goals. So are they trying to get more leads and generate more sales? Is it purely like a brand awareness play? So start thinking about like, what's a slam dunk for your brand? What are the goals that you're trying to measure? Because that will inform the type of content you want to create and truly like what social media platforms you should be on. which is the next one. So choosing the right social media platforms. We end up developing out a content plan alongside the social media strategy. So for the social strategy, we think about it per channel. And so if we're on LinkedIn, we build out what the target audience is, what the KPIs are going to be. And then we actually define out content buckets. So like what content buckets, is it thought leadership? Is it going to be pushing product? Whatever those are. And then below that, we start to define like, how will we talk about those things? And what does it look like? And what hashtags? And what is a typical like CTA for if it's thought leadership and they're talking about the climate right now? And so we try to get like really clear on our campaigns so we can measure them on the back end and see truly which campaigns are performing well. So you'll develop a content plan, which will be hashtags. Are you going to use user-generated content? Are you going to shoot your own content? Like, what is that going to look like? What is the tone of voice going to be? How are you going to interact with your fans? And then start measuring. So like the biggest part of the social media strategy is holding yourself accountable for measurement. So many founders I meet will do all of these things, start putting out content, and then never measure to see their success. So how could you possibly know it's working if you're not looking at the data on the back end? And then obviously it includes engaging with your audience, and then adapting. Social is changing every single day. We're constantly reading about the changes. So make sure that you're adapting with how the social media channels adapt, even if it seems overwhelming. Okay. So I did some examples because I just think that that's helpful. So let's say you're a B2C business, you're selling clothes online, you're a fashion retailer. Your target audience might be women 18 to 35 years old who are interested in fashion and trends. Your business goals could be website traffic and boosting sales. And then what could a content plan look like? So maybe daily posts showcasing new clothing arrivals, outfit ideas, showing reviews that have come in, anything that you're tagged in that is on brand, like user-generated content that you can share, giveaways. You kind of see like the different content ideas here. And then what channel should you be on? So for this client, we were thinking Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And then we put some hashtags. So this is just an idea of if you're an online fashion retailer, some examples of like target audience goals, content. And then I went a little bit deeper here because I noticed a lot of people were like service providers. So I did a B2B fractional CFO service provider. So in terms of like defining the target audience, small business owners who are looking for financial guidance and support, setting clear goals and objectives. So like, are you trying to generate leads for yourself? Are you just trying to be a thought leader? And maybe you're not trying to do leads, you're trying to secure like podcasts or thought leadership opportunities. And then the most relevant platform. So the CFO is leaning more professional. So LinkedIn and Twitter is what we were thinking about. There is an argument to be made for Instagram. Develop a content plan, optimize each content for each platform. Then I even went so far as like engage with the audience. So like responding to comments, messages, and prompts authentically. So here's one thing I want to stop on that we didn't talk about as much before. When we roll on to brands, obviously content is king, but engagement is queen. So if you're not engaging every single day with your community, it is a missed opportunity. So when we put together these like social media strategies, we tell the client very specifically, like, this is my outbound engagement plan and this is my inbound engagement plan. So I'm not sure if anyone has those right now, but I will say that the outbound, and I'm going to check the chat in a second. I can't see it. So if you're messaging, I haven't checked it yet. If you're doing outbound engagement, it essentially means you're thinking about who your ideal like consumer is, target customer, target follower, and finding hashtags that are relevant to them, accounts that they follow, and then thoughtfully going in, like looking at their content and interacting with them. So they don't follow you yet. That's why it's outbound, right? So you're trying to reach out to these people to make them like aware that you exist and bring them into like your ecosystem. The inbound engagement is truly looking at like people who are commenting on your feeds. They might be sending you messages. They're already liking your stuff. Like, let's say you have a Facebook page, they're already liking it. So maybe we're requesting them to follow the Facebook page, whatever that looks like. And just nurturing your existing audience. So Instagram's a really great example. So many people will follow you and then you'll never really engage with them. So like, how are you going into your existing followers that are following your Instagram accounts and engaging with those people? Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm checking the chat, I know. Okay, yes, the slides will be distributed for sure. And then you'll also have my email. So you can email me if you have like specific questions about your brand. I'm more than happy to answer it. Now the question is, how do I close out of this? Okay. Let's go back. Okay. Anything else on this slide that I want to talk about? Are there questions so far that I haven't answered? No? Yes? Okay. Measuring organic social. So how this comes up all the time when I'm pitching. And so to me, I'm like, this is probably something you're thinking about. You want to bring on a freelancer, you want to bring on an agency. How are you measuring the ROI on your organic social? Or you're doing it yourself and you want to know how am I measuring my ROI? Well, that is a great question. Here are some metrics that we look at. So organic social is hard to measure ROI in, not going to lie. We tell our clients this, it's hard to follow conversions all the way through. We do the best we can to make those educated guesses, I guess. Guesses is a bad word, but so engagement rate, the percentage of people who are engaging with your organic social media content, such as liking, commenting, or sharing. Usually when we roll on with the brand, we're always looking to increase engagement. We want followers to be interacting with your content, sending you DMs, liking things. Like we want to make sure that the content is designed for your target audience. So make sure that your engagement rate is decent. So when we roll on, sometimes clients have an engagement rate of like 1%. So honestly, like usually we're at 5 or 10% when we're working with clients. Not everybody comments on things all the time or likes things. Sometimes you have like ghost followers who just follow you and see your content, but normally that's where we're at. In terms of reach, you can look at the amount of people who are like seeing your content essentially. Follower growth rate, so like the rate that your followers are growing over time. You can also look at the link click-through rate. So, you know, how many people are reading one of your posts, if it's Instagram, going to your LinkedIn bio, clicking all the way through, and like, when do they fall off? So for us, we'll connect into Google Analytics and I'll be able to see on the organic side, like how many referrals from Instagram your website is getting. And if we're running paid at the same time, the social tool that we have actually splits out the organic and paid metrics. So like I recommend Agora Pulse. They do a really good job of splitting that out. So I can see exactly like how much organic traffic is being driven versus paid traffic. And then we end up looking at those numbers and saying like, look at these organic posts are doing really, really well. Like let's put paid dollars behind it and see how it performs on the paid side as well. So your organic social can also feed how your paid strategy is doing. And then we're also like looking at brand sentiment. So I'm sure you've seen like social listening tools, which are really great to just see like, you know, how are your consumers talking about your brand? You can follow like really specific topics. So like, let's say, I don't know, I think like the NFL draft is tonight. So let's say, you know, you want to follow the NFL draft, like how are people talking about the NFL draft right now? Can I create like real-time content around that potentially has the opportunity to get us in front of our target demo? So yeah, we look at brand sentiment as well. Measuring paid social. I don't know how many people on here are running paid social. But there are a bunch of things that you can look at. So like the click-through rate, the cost that you're paying per click, the conversion rate. So, this percentage of people, can you guys see these okay? The percentage of people who completed a action, like clicking your ad, making a purchase, filling out your form. And typically the ad platform that you're working on, like Facebook, TikTok, it'll show you on the back end analytics for your paid. And they also have free courses as well. So if you want to get into running paid social, I would definitely recommend, like, if you can't hire somebody to do it, I would take one of their free courses, at least to get a baseline, and then jumping on support, they will help you as well. If you want to hack it together in the beginning, and not use a freelancer. So sorry, I'm just looking at the questions. Advice you give people starting from scratch. That's a great question. So we work with a lot of brands where we launch them from the ground up. And I think it's a different set of expectations. So when you're launching your brand from the ground up, we're really purposeful on like optimizing the pages for SEO and then getting content on the pages before we start like directing people to them. Does that make sense? So like we'll fill out some of the pages first before we even have them do this like initial email blast or whatever to their insider circle to say like, hey, follow me on social here, here, and here. And then we're measuring a lot closer. So like we'll set the strategy based on competitors, and we'll look at the numbers like week over week. We won't change a strategy that quickly because truly, I think you need to give strategy a quarter to see if it's working. But we will make, if something's really bombing the first month and I can tell by the numbers because I've been doing it for so long, I'll cut that campaign and we'll replace it with something else. So I think in the beginning, at least, you have to keep a really close eye on what you're doing. Does that make sense? So it's more work when you're launching it from the ground up. And we definitely like look for sure at their competitive space to see like the blunders that have already happened on other brands and avoid those. We actually developed like the startup incubator program specifically for brands who were launching, because we got to a point where we were doing so many of them that we realized truly in the beginning, brands need a overarching marketing strategy. So social media marketing should play into all your other marketing efforts. It's not like your Hail Mary or saving grace to like save your business. So like set your marketing strategy, and then how does organic social play into your email marketing? Like how does it play into your paid social strategy? Like think about it holistically. So when we come in, we do a lot of we give a lot of advice, at least on other areas of marketing, and just how like social can support it. So some of our clients have PR goals and we leverage social to get them those opportunities. So you can kind of see how like it spider webs into everything else, right? Because social media is your brand voice and it's the thing that's talking every day to your consumer. Let's see. Let me go to the next slide. So this is a plug. So I'm just letting you guys know that now we follow trends all the time. Everything now, social media has changed so much from when I started that you have to literally keep up with trends every single day. So we were looking at trending subscription services. I don't know if anyone even knew those existed, but they do. And we ended up developing our own because we just like aggregate trends every single day. And I couldn't find one that was aggregating trends that weren't already viral. So like the goal would be to get in on a sound and a trend before it goes viral, so you have the most amount of potential to get views. So that's what we started doing. So if you're interested in receiving trends and you find it hard to create video content and you just don't know like what, I hear this sound everywhere, but like, what do I even do with it? We aggregate all this information and text it to you twice a week, and it's only $10 a month. So yeah, it's awesome. Okay. So one other thing I wanted to get into, like how to supercharge your social media strategy, is truly to understand the algorithm, and it changes, right? So like I just created these slides yesterday because I wanted to make sure that like no updates had been done. So what's interesting is LinkedIn just put out an article talking about the algorithm, which they don't talk about it a lot normally. So there's key factors that weigh into performance on LinkedIn. And I do think that LinkedIn is truly growing. I did like a little experiment over the last year to invest a lot of my personal time in LinkedIn. And we've seen a huge return, at least on the Quimby side. So I do think we service B2B businesses. Like B2B is our target demo. So I feel like if you're a B2B service provider, like LinkedIn is where you should be. And I would really start cultivating your audience. So on LinkedIn, they look at the post author, which I thought was interesting. So they're actually looking at like who you're connected with, and then also seniority level of the people you're connected with. So like, how wide is your audience? Like, what is your audience that you're connected to? And then also engagement signals. So like when you post something, are people engaging with it right away? Is anybody saying anything on it? Like, are people liking it? Are they sharing it? Similar to other platforms. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, and your industry. So like, depending on what industry you're in, it might be more likely to be shown to people in that industry as well. And yeah, that's it. I think the most surprising thing for me when this came out was that they look at your connections and almost like what their titles are of your connections. Does that make sense? Like what their job is. Like how, like if you're a CFO at a company and connected to other CFOs at other organizations, like they're more likely to show that content to other CFOs. Okay, Instagram Reels. I don't think I put static posts in here. No, because everyone asks me about Reels all the time. So user engagement. I think that this one's pretty obvious. When you're creating video content, engagement definitely is king. So if it's being saved, if people are commenting on it, if people are liking it. So when you're creating your content, I would say like in the first 2 seconds of the video, like what is your hook? Because that's, if you're thinking about just the way that consumers react to things, like typically it's like right within the first few seconds of seeing something. So what is your hook in the beginning? Are they, so they continue to watch the video through and then are more likely to comment. And then interaction history. So like if someone is consistently interacting with your content, they're going to see your content more, which kind of seems like a no-brainer. But if you think about it, this is where engagement comes into play. So this is why you should be nurturing the people who follow you, because if you're going into your followers and you're engaging with them, then they're more likely to engage back with you and then in turn see your content more. So that's where like this, starts to intersect. Trending audio has just like recently blown up, I feel like, in like the last, God, I don't know, 6 to 8 months. So like static posts on Instagram can have an audio to them, as well as reels. So, we aggregate like trending sounds, and then we also think about the content concepts that go against them. So like, is there an opportunity? I'm not saying that every single reel you create has to be a trending sound, but it is like one factor to definitely consider when you're building out your strategy. So what to avoid in your reels? So low resolution reels, that seems pretty obvious, but like people like to see things that are a little bit higher quality. It doesn't have to be like a professionally shot video. Your iPhone is fine, but obviously avoid blurry or low res. So watermarked reels. I'm sure you've heard the rumor that if you download a video from TikTok and upload it onto Instagram, it will not perform as well. We have experienced that. So far we have been using things to rip the logo off of TikTok if we have to download it from TikTok. Just so it's not like, I don't know, seen less. Reels with no audio. I don't know. So it just depends on the type of content. I've seen things perform really well with no audio and just text on the screen. So I truly think it depends on like how much value you're putting in the video itself. Political reels, political statements on virtually every platform now. are being either like shadow banned or I don't know, just not seen as often. And then violating Instagram's community guidelines, obviously. Yeah, so there are actually apps that allow you to download. So like, I'm pretty sure SnapTik is one of them, and I can send a list after this that will allow you to download the TikTok video without the logo on it, so you can just repurpose it onto Instagram. The TikTok algorithm. So TikTok is a little bit more complicated. But in terms of how content is shown to you, it looks at accounts that you follow. It looks at how much time you're spending on video. So you don't even have to interact with the video. You don't have to follow the person. You don't have to like it, anything. But if you watch the video all the way through and they see that commonality that you're watching like line dancing videos, but you never comment on them, it will still start to show you that content. So you can also mark videos not interested. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. So practical tools. So TikTok SEO research. So now a lot of people are, and I guess they were doing this before, but optimizing their videos for SEO on TikTok and on Instagram. So essentially what they're doing is they're looking at the most common keywords searched within their space you can do this on TikTok, and the link is in here, so you'll get this presentation. And so you can look up like financial services or like beauty industry, and you'll see like what people are searching. So you can take those keywords and people will hide them in their video. So you can like change the color of them, make it really small and hide it in your video, and then also use it in your caption, because TikTok is reading the captions on the video itself and then also in the caption box itself. So optimizing the videos for SEO will help them get seen in front of more people. So yeah, I don't start to look for it now in videos. I bet you'll spot them in some places. But the TikTok SEO tool is just really helpful to understand like what even to optimize your text for. A resource I really like to follow. So since things are changing all of the time, I read every single day just about the updated platforms, and the Stack Marketer does a really good wrap up of like what's changed from yesterday to today. And it also does it for Google and other services as well. Like I said, sign up for a trending subscription service if you're having difficulty like identifying trends. You can also go into Instagram itself and obviously look to see what's rising. Same with TikTok. We use Agora Pulse for scheduling. So I definitely recommend like pre-baking out some content. So we will pre-bake out content a month in advance, and then we execute on trending stuff weekly. So what are your evergreen pieces of content? What can you bake out a month in advance to make your life easier? That way, when things come up like pop culture, or you're really passionate about something, like that's going on in the entertainment industry, you can do those on the fly and it's less of a burden. Also, we really like the ability to have multiple team members within Agora Pulse, and workflows, social listening, like all of those things. Chat GPT. So a lot of clients have been asking me about this. If you can engineer the right prompts in Chat GPT, it is a wonderful tool for you to generate content ideas. So we will think about our campaign strategy, and then we'll input like tiers into Chat GPT, and it will give us ideas. And then I can take those ideas and be like, this works, but not this piece of it. Give me more ideas, and really just like iterate. So it cuts your time down. So you can look up like prompts for social media strategy for Chat GPT. I have a whole list of prompts. So if you need prompts, do let me know. I can send you some, but I would use this if you're feeling stuck. I would use it to optimize your Instagram bio. You could definitely do that. Your TikTok bio, your LinkedIn page, sky's the limit. Canva, I'm sure many of you have heard of Canva. But if you're not design savvy, this tool will make you design savvy. So you can go into Canva, get templates, create your own, create videos, whatever you want to do. Let's see. And then this is just our team, and where you can find us. One hack I didn't share in here, and I'm going to look at the questions too, is on TikTok. So we've helped accounts go viral. So like our biggest success story is launching a TikTok from the ground up. The first organic video we posted got 60,000 likes on it. And it was like a witch talk, actually. So from there, we started creating like more fun content that related to what this app was, which it was a period tracker that has like an astrology angle to it. And we started to notice that you got more success when you put like 20 or 30 bucks behind a video that you knew was like outperforming others. So if you're on TikTok a lot, you'll post a video and you'll kind of see like views go up a little bit. So like normally it'll sit at like 0 and then all of a sudden it's at like 200, right? Or, 10 people will see it and then it's 20 and 30. Like you can kind of see the trend and understand like, oh yeah, this is performing better than my other pieces of content. Try putting $30 worth of ad spend behind that and watching to see how it kind of breaks through that barrier. So we did that a few times and that really helped drive follower growth. I also tested it on my personal account. And there's a video on there and I can share it with you guys that I did that was like really dumb about like how I like to watch Netflix or something. And I noticed it was going up in views right away. And I put ad spend against it. This was a year ago and I'm still getting views on that video today. So I think it's a powerful hack if you don't have a ton of money to spend on ads. Just start paying really close attention to the videos that are performing well and try mini ad budgets. No, not paying for ads on it still. It was a one-time thing. The other thing too is if you have a larger following, the way to get videos to be seen quicker is to respond to comments in real time. So once we helped the one account go viral, they had like 90,000 followers. When we would post a video, people would start like responding like almost instantaneously after we posted it. We would have somebody sit on there for like an hour after the video was posted and respond back to every single comment, and it would drive views up so quickly. So we noticed pretty quickly, like if we didn't do that, that we nearly wouldn't get as much success. So I would say if you have brands that have bigger accounts, definitely consider like posting and dedicating some time after to respond to those comments in real time, just to get views coming back for more. So it makes sense if you think about it. If somebody comments on a post and you respond back to them, they usually go back to see like what the comment is and like we'll re-click on the video. So it drives one more view to the video. So those are some TikTok hacks. I'm happy to answer any questions. I want it to leave about 10 or 15 minutes or so at the end. So it looks like I'm a few minutes early. So if you have questions, please pop them in the chat. And I'm
Maybe
gonna
a couple questions come up that I don't think we covered.
Okay.
Caitlin was wondering, her target client is age 30 to 50, super busy, professional female, and I'm service-based. Am I really missing out by not being on TikTok? I feel like it's not where my target client is, but I don't want to miss a big opportunity.
Interesting. So what can I ask what type of service-based business? So I do think
travel advising, custom itineraries. So like someone's going to go to Paris and they talk to my Paris tastemaker about like where to eat, what to do, like what's hot, kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually think you should be on TikTok. So there's like a huge travel talk segment on there, and like obviously travel influencers. I don't know how much information you feel comfortable sharing, but I do think that like in the hashtags, you would target who your ideal person is, right? So like definitely ages 30 to 50 are on TikTok. As a good example, like a lot of the 50 plus clients that I work with are on TikTok themselves. They do not post, but they do consume. So you have to think about that people are on TikTok that you probably aren't thinking about because they're not posting, but they are consuming. So like my dad sends me TikToks all the time, and he is like the least tech savvy person I know. So it's think about who's on there consuming. I do think like TikTok ideas for you is if you're planning, like if you know the hottest places in Paris, you could do a quick recap of that. Like that's something I could see is incredibly valuable that would go viral. I don't know if that's your secret sauce, so you can't give that away, but I would be curious to just think about like what are exciting tips, tricks that you could, or like what are experiences you could showcase on there. The videos could be like 5 to 10 seconds long. It doesn't have to be like super crazy, and test it. But I do think that your target client is on there. Mostly people are avoiding TikTok because it's such a heavy lift on the video side, but just start out with what you feel comfortable with. You don't have to post every single day. Everyone says that you have to. That's not true. High quality content will continue to get views, like I told you, like a year after.
And last question really quick. Is it poo to have the same content on Instagram and TikTok? I'm bootstrapped, so it's just me. I'd love to afford you at some point in time. But this is me. Is that like a bad look to have the same content on both? Do I need to differentiate?
No, I would just, so not everything you create for Instagram is going to be appropriate for TikTok, but you can put it on both for right now. We know a lot of founders that do it. So showing up, think about this, showing up on TikTok, which I'm sure your Instagram content is great. Showing up on TikTok is better than not showing up at all. So like get out there, get your following, and then finesse as you go. Typically what we are seeing now though, is that Instagram is following TikTok. So you're going to see things that are going viral on TikTok. So like the office memes, I don't know if anyone has seen like the CapCut templates of like, you know, Michael, like with like the sound box going like this or whatever. But like that started to go viral on TikTok before it ever made its way on Instagram. And then it made its way on Instagram and started to go viral on Instagram as well. So we're like kind of closely monitoring TikTok trends too. And we kind of, when we see it once on Instagram or twice, I'm like, oh, this is going to pick up and go. And so we'll pull some of that TikTok over to Instagram. So I don't know if that's helpful, but yes, you can double down for sure. Just, I don't think that every single piece is going to be worth it for TikTok. But some for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of on the same topic, Mariana was wondering, is there a tool that automates resharing content from one platform to another? Example, Reels to Pinterest ideas or YouTube Shorts.
You mean like if you input the video, will it just like automatically like cut it appropriately for Pinterest? Is that what you mean?
Mariana, feel free to jump in if you have.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I'm commuting from one place to the other, but yes. So not so much resizing, but just like I'd love to find something that allows me to like schedule it out and just post it. So I tried Planoly, but Planoly doesn't let you like just schedule things out. You still have to like download the video and then manually post it. So I'm wondering if there's anything out there that allows you to just like automate scheduling to like everything.
Yeah.
Or is that my dream?
No, you're right. So it's an API limitation with the social media platforms, but Sprout Social has it, and so does Agora Pulse. There's still a limitation though. So like you can upload the Instagram reel to the platform. It will schedule the video out itself. So like it won't send you a push notification, which is like super annoying. But you cannot pick a trending audio, and the same thing with Sprout Social. So that's the limitation. You can schedule out these videos if you don't want a trending audio to go with it. Otherwise, you're going to have to post it natively. So yeah, and they service like Pinterest and all of the platforms. So I know there's like starter plans too.
So does that mean you have to like post it without any audio, or how does the audio work in that situation?
No, so you could post the video like, so if like we were recording this and I was just talking into the camera and it's recording, it'll post that audio. But if you wanted to pick like music from Instagram, you know, and have it tagged under that trending audio sound itself, so it's discoverable, you can't do that within the Agora Pulse or Sprout platform.
Okay. All right. That's helpful.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Maria had a question here. I have a friend who has 80K organic followers on IG for photography, but is having trouble reaching her audience. She hasn't been posting consistently the last year and is now feeling less motivated on posting with IG because of the low reach, hence now having less leads with clients. Trying to figure out how I can best support as we're partnering together in a creative business.
Yeah, so she probably went dark for a period of time, I would imagine, and then basically got screwed by the algorithms. What we would do is like super manual, and I don't know if she would want to do this, but like we would start to go through her 80K audience and like try and re-engage them. So it's like a very manual process. There are tools out there that you can look to see if the followers are like ghost followers. So sometimes brands, like OG brands, get in a situation where maybe they bought followers, or there was a time when there were like a bunch of bots on Instagram. Remember when they did that whole like bot sweep, and like sweeped out fake followers? So I would be curious to know if a lot of the following right now on her account is people who are bots or no longer active on Instagram, and you can run her handle. And I can send a website too for this, but there's a website that you can essentially run her profile through, and it'll tell you like X amount of these followers are like fake followers essentially. And what they mean by fake is not necessarily that she bought them, but just that they're bot accounts. So when you start to think about the Instagram algorithm and you're like, okay, like my content's only being shown to like 30% of my audience or something. What if the audience that it's being shown to is like people who are like no longer active on Instagram? So it actually helps to like, if even like now when you see people that follow you on Instagram and you notice they're like those fake accounts, like you can just tell by the handle, I would just block them, because you don't want that to hurt your engagement rates. And like truly the purpose is to find your ideal customer. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It's like, how engaged is your audience? Like, are these real humans looking at your thing? So I hope that's helpful. Like, so I would probably like try and do a sweep through it, and start engaging with people, to get them to look at the content again.
That was super helpful. Yeah, I'll take a look there, because I like that might be it, because it's like just dead and it just sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. I would run it through the program probably and see, like, you guys didn't hear me say this, but there are tools that are against Instagram's API that will clean out fake followers on your account. There are limitations on how many fake followers can be cleaned out in an hour. So just maybe look those up if somebody tells you to do that. And yeah, you can automate it. So
The inside scoop.
yeah.
Mariana has a question. She says, I run a sustainable children's clothing brand, and TikTok says I can't advertise because my brand sells things for kids, but I see kids' brands on there. How are they getting around this?
So you try to put paid ad dollars, and I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna let my dog out here before she like jumps on the monitor. Here. So did you try and run paid ad dollars behind it, or is your organic content? Okay, you did.
Yeah, I tried to run paid ads and my ads kept getting rejected. And the reason they stated that it was getting rejected is because I was like in violation of their advertising terms. And the only one I could find that could apply is that you cannot advertise things for like products or anything for children on Instagram on TikTok in the United States. But I see kids' brands on there and they seem to be advertising. And I'm like, I don't understand like how they get around this.
Sorry, I was thinking in my mind about other clients. So there could be two ways they're getting around it. One, I'm sure you guys have seen advertisements for like CBD hemp brands before. But what they're advertising itself is like, while the product might be in the video, they're talking about like something else, or like almost like it's not necessarily an advertisement. Does that make sense? So I don't know. We've only ran into this issue one other time, and it was with a fintech client because there's very specific financial guidelines for advertising on TikTok. I've never run into this with a clothing brand, I'm going to be honest. So what I would do is reach out to the TikTok rep there, and I can make an introduction to the TikTok rep for you if you email me and say, like, I'm trying to spend money on TikTok and this is what keeps coming up. And if they think that you're going to spend, I think the last thing she told me is like $3,000 a month, they'll help you figure out what loopholes you need to jump through to get your videos up. So I think it's like worth having that conversation, regardless if you're going to spend the $3,000 just to see like what they say.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, I would love that.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley. Catherine has a question. I haven't launched it yet, but I'm working on a new project / company and planning on IG and TikTok as the main platforms I'll use it for. It's a digital product that's food event focused, starting from 0 followers, etc. Do you recommend posting very frequently at first to get content circulating, or taking it slower, testing to see what resonates with people before just putting too much out there? Or what's the best route when starting at the ground level? And do you think posting to build momentum before the actual launch is a good idea?
Okay. Let me answer these questions one at a time because I'm looking at it. A digital product that's food event focused. Yes, I think Instagram and TikTok are good. I would also launch on Facebook in case you wanted to set up ad campaigns in the future. Just so like you have that page set up. And then in terms of like posting very frequently, if you have content to post very frequently for TikTok, yeah, I would do that. Because you can have like 0 followers and it won't matter, a video could go viral. So I would like post consistently. I would think about though, like what you're posting. So it doesn't just feel like totally random. So if you have enough content to post for TikTok, yes, post every single day, but definitely make sure you have your content plan like ironed out before. So maybe it's like introducing the founder, and like a founder series. And then it's like behind the scenes of building our brand. And then it's like, this is what the first curated experience is going to be like, and whatever that is. Just make sure like your content buckets are mapped out. TikTok, you can get like, since it's event-based, so I'm assuming there's probably a specific location that you're going to be staying in or within, you can use your hashtags to target by location. So like when you're uploading your videos on TikTok, I will put the locations as hashtags that you're starting to host these events in. So you get thrown into that like niche bucket, because once content starts to go viral on TikTok, it will niche you down into that type of content. So just make sure that like, you're also considering the locations that you're going to be hosting your events at, so you don't get like niched somewhere you don't want to be niched. You can launch definitely before your product goes live. I did that with my last business. It was like an online digital magazine for women. And I launched it like 3 or 4 months before I ever even had the website up. Telling people like what the community was, asking them questions, getting people involved, building the audience. So like when I went to launch, there was like actually a community there that would buy from me. I think people really like to see behind the scenes and authenticity. So they love like the journey sharing aspect. Like they want to be part of a brand. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, how do you cultivate your brand in such a way where you can give behind the scenes without giving away too much? Instagram, I don't think that you have to like, we don't post every day on Instagram. I keep seeing this like rumor go around that you have to post like 100 times a day on Instagram. Like that's not true. So I would just like be thoughtful with your static posts on Instagram, but then just make sure that your reels, if you have reel content, post a few times a week for reels. If you have it. But if you don't, then like one really thoughtful reel a week when you're just starting out is fine.
Thank you so much. That was super, super helpful. I think a lot of times too, you know, before you launch something, like it's the last company I launched was like almost a decade ago, and Instagram since then has changed like dramatically. So it becomes even more like intimidating this day where it's like truly the Wild West, where it's like, oh my God, I'm starting with like literally 0 followers. Like, what am I putting out there? Is it even going to be seen anymore? So, so that was super helpful because it can be scary, but I don't want it to be.
Yeah, and honestly, we're getting to a space where it's not going to be viable to be on every single social media channel. I mean, just think about it. Like you can't be on 100 social platforms and think that you're going to perform well on all of them. So the ones that you have capacity for, like, do those really well and don't worry about the rest. Honestly, I would also try out Lemonade, which I know some people might not know about, and some people might be on it already, but it's the TikTok, like the TikTok parent company put the app out. And I just downloaded it like a week ago, and it definitely has some real potential. So especially travel, it already breaks down content buckets on there. So download it and look, but like travel, beauty, fashion, I don't know. I've been seeing some people have some early success on there because the market's not that crowded yet. And if I had to explain it to people who don't know what it is, it's like if Pinterest and Instagram and TikTok had a baby, that's what it would be like. So check it out if you haven't.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley, and thank you for everyone asking these great questions. We'll have time for one more question. Would love your thoughts on Substack and building an audience on Substack. I'm using it as I want to build a following for my newsletter to sell coaching.
So I'm not on Substack, but a lot of people I know are creating newsletters on Substack and signing up for subscriptions on Substack. So I don't think that's a bad idea. We have an email newsletter and we send out like free trends once a week. We use Klaviyo to do that. But if you want to like start building passive income, then yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people have success on there. I'm not a Substack expert, so I'm probably not the right person to ask. Yeah, we're more in the trending social content space.
Sounds like we need an office hours on Substacks. All right, this was so amazing. I appreciate everyone's asking such great questions and participating. I have a couple of things I want to drop in the chat. First, the events feedback form. We'd love to hear what you thought of today's session. It was incredible. The chat has already been blowing up with how incredible it's been. So if you want to share with us in the official form, that would be very helpful. And we can pass that along to Ashley and the rest of the team. So thank you in advance if you want to fill that out. But thank you so much, Ashley, for hosting today and just giving us all the behind the scenes knowledge on such an elusive topic of social media trends. Like you mentioned earlier, it changes literally daily. So we appreciate you just diving right in and sharing all the things with us. It was so great learning from you.
Of course, thanks for having me. And I'll circulate the slides. Feel free to email me. I'm more than happy to provide advice. You can hear my kids coming in here, working mom life. And yeah, I will be happy to help any of you out. So I'll also circulate the slides as well. So yeah, I'll definitely help any of you out, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And if you want to shoot Caitlin any slides or anything, feel free to send them to her and we'll get those distributed. Okay. And finally, if anyone ever wants to host an office hours of their own, dropping that form as well, feel free to pitch your sessions to us. We'd love to feature you. But I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Ashley. Bye.